This chapter is very important because I bet many of you want the topic of price discrimination for your second article summary, which is your final copy. So remember what did we say? We say when we look at I'm just going to use this as a point. So when we look at the perfect competition, right, you have the price at $2 and the quantity at 12. How do you know? Because that's where price is equal to MC. Everybody got it? Mm-hmm. So here's your price line or demand curve cut MC right there. So that's 3 and 12. Okay, so this is a repeat, but this repeat is important. So for perfect competition. And I want you to pay attention that when you do that, your consumer surplus is this upper triangle right here, right? Your producer surplus is that lower triangle below the price line. So you have the maximum triangle. So therefore, you are maximizing total economic surplus. However, when you look at monopoly, okay, this is perfect competition. You need to write notes on something like that. So when it comes to monopoly, again we say MI equals to MC. Remember, go back to your note that I give you the steps. So MI equals to MC is the criterion in which you decide how the monopoly will price, how the monopoly will produce. At this point, I appreciate it if you put away all your cell phone and please do not text. You're welcome to leave, to text if you want to do that, but please. So MR cuts MC right here. You go up here. This is your price is $4, and your quantity is 8. What is that? That is the price and quantity by the monopoly. Okay, so your PM is $4. Your, what's the other one? Your quantity for monopoly is, come down, so 8. So what did I say? Somebody tell me, look back to your note, because this is so important. Somebody tell me what are the two strategies for monopoly?
One of them is to restrict output.
Very good, restrict output. What's the other one?
Oh, we never got raised the price, but I think it's
I'm sorry?
decrease price.
Raise the price. Very good. So if you're the biggest shark in town, that's what you do. So you see that monopoly price at $4. How do you know? Now, this is so important because most people ask me this again and again. So I'm going to explain this one time. I hope you pay attention. MR cuts MC here. So here's a quantity, but then the price charged by monopoly, you have to go all the way up, touching that price line, because that's a demand curve. That's also your price line. So you could draw the line across, it's $4. Now, some of you will make a mistake and say, oh yeah, monopoly price at 2. No. Because the price line is up there, that's a demand curve. Okay, so everybody got that? You can see that monopoly charge 4 instead of 3 under perfect competition, and the restrict output they give you only 8 instead of 12. Is there a dead weight loss? The most important question I'm asking now. Is there a dead weight loss for monopoly? Yes or no? Come on. Oh, don't understand. Okay, so let me draw this up right here. So if this is the price line for the monopoly, where is the consumer surplus? Go back to our definition. Consumer surplus is the area above the price line, below the demand curve. So it will be this little triangle here. Everybody got it?
Right.
Okay, the producer surplus will be this area right here. Okay, the trapezium. So this piece right here plus the triangle, because it is the area, producer surplus that is below the price line and above the, very good, or marginal cost. So right here is above the marginal cost, below the price line, so it's this area right there. Okay, so that's your producer surplus. And what about this guy right here? That's our dead weight loss, or bad triangle. It's this both triangles up here. Okay, everybody got it? All right, so that is so important. And very quickly, I want to show you this diagram. This should be in your book. I'm just gonna go over this very quickly. So you got two diagrams here. We want to show you when is monopoly making profit, when it is not making profit. So look up in your book for this page. If you can find it, tell me the page number. while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and just explain this very quickly. And by the way, your scores for, your grades for your plagiarisms video is already, I have already inputted on the blackboard. I don't put everything on black. Mr. Chang, would you come get your homework, please? Last row, yeah. So I don't put everything on the blackboard like some instructors do, because the blackboard has some discrepancies sometimes. So I do everything on a spreadsheet, all your grades, you know, your attendance, your extra credit. So please do not look at the blackboard and see and think you got anything. That's just a small subset. So very quickly, marginal cost demand is exactly the same. Okay, so the only thing different that you will see here is you're gonna see the soup bowl, the average total cost I'm gonna throw in, and then we're gonna decide whether the monopoly is making profit or not making profit. So you got a demand curve, you got a downward sloping demand curve, downward sloping MR, so this is up the distance here. Okay, that's a repeat. And your marginal cost happen to be horizontal. Doesn't matter, you could go up like that. Because the important thing is where MR cuts MC, which is at this point right here, right? That's where you decide when, where the monopoly will produce. So for that matter, it doesn't matter if this red line is horizontal or it's going up like that, okay? So next, what you see now is your average total cost. And here's your average total cost right here. Okay, so your average total cost, it happened in two places. So this is like, well, how many of you have a house that has a port that goes around? A port, yeah, P-O-R-C, it's like, you know, inside the house or outside the house at the port. So the way I would explain it is, this ATC happens like, sort of like at the port, and here is inside the house. So what we do here is we decide the first criterion, go back to your note the other day. Step one is MR cuts MC. You go up all the way, touch that price line. You go on. You have reached your grandmother's house, but go on further to Food Lion, get some grocery. Go on further up there, your ATC is higher. So, because ATC is higher than your price line, so therefore you're making a loss. Now, remember, I don't want to go over that again. We had this criterion before. Remember that? P minus ATC is known as your unit profit. So that's your profit. So if P is greater than ATC, you are making a profit. Remember all that, this is a repeat review. P equals to ATC, we call that break even. And P equals to less than ATC, what do we call? Loss. Loss, very good. You're seeing the pink. So, okay, so this is what happened. At this point where MR cuts MC, the quantity is 20, you go up all the way, say, oh yeah, no, not so good, because P is below ATC. So you are making a loss. So this area right here, remember you have to multiply by Q. This is your 20. And this is your, somebody tell me quickly, what's the price? 10 cents, very good. What's the ATC? Come on. 12 cents, right? Right here. So yeah, ATC is higher than price. Derek, you look confused. Any questions? Okay, all right, very good. So that's your loss. Right? Now over here, it's not so. Over here, see the difference is MR cuts MC. You go up here, you say here's a price line, and price is $10, but the ATC is lower. Okay, so this area here is your profit. So, well, yeah, I don't want to write it down, but it doesn't matter about how to calculate, because I think you know how to calculate. The important part is for you to know that this ATC, or part of the left arm of your soup bowl, actually happen inside the demand curve. So therefore, you're having profit. But here, it is outside. So you have to extend further up the, but that's your average total cost higher than price. Think you understand, Ms. Kira? Any question? Yeah, you can ask questions if you don't understand anything, yeah. Yes,
Just to make sure I'm clear, the
Mhm.
ATC is
Yes.
the,
average
the
total cost.
actual versus,
It's average total cost.
but to get that, you have to do what, the average fixed cost and the average variable cost?
Yeah, very good.
Okay,
You sum it up together.
okay.
Okay, so there's your dead weight loss, what I just said earlier. That's our bad triangle. Okay, everybody see that? Okay, I hope you're taking notes. This is sort of important. Monopoly is very important. So dead weight loss is something we don't want to see because then, so by that, right, the big picture here is monopoly is considered inefficient. Why is it inefficient? Because you have a dead weight loss. You're not maximizing your total economic surplus. Whereas with perfect competition, this whole triangle is your total economic surplus. But with monopoly, your total economic surplus is consumer surplus plus producer surplus. Whoops. You leave out that triangle, which is your dead weight loss. Is dead weight loss good?
No.
Not good, okay, that's a social loss that, remember, I described it as like you put $10 million in the money bag, you throw it into the Atlantic Ocean.
Mhm.
It's lost. The shark gobble it up and it's gone. So as the president of the United States, Donald Trump should be very concerned about that bad triangle. What's the strategy? Make it smaller. It's probably not possible to say totally eliminate it, but you could minimize it. So there are ways to do it, we'll talk about that later. So very quickly summary. So I just want to point out monopoly profits are maximized where MI equals to MC's first step, very important. In the perfect competition, it's also MI equals to MC, but because your MR, your price line is also your demand curve. Remember this one, I talked about it, go back to your old note. The price line is also your MR, or individual demand, on the PC. Remember this famous diagram? That perfectly elastic curve is your demand curve, is also your marginal revenue. So, there it is. So your price line is also your marginal revenue, like I just draw. So because MC equals to MI is the profit maximizing criterion at all times for all market structure. So you could substitute that with MR, so P equals to MC is your efficient pricing. So there's no dead weight loss there. Why is that? Because for efficient pricing, you maximize your total economic surplus. You're not able to carve out that little bad triangle. However, not so for monopoly, because in the case of monopoly, they price above marginal revenue, or they price it above marginal cost. See the difference here, everybody? Very big, important difference. We probably will ask you that question about 3 times on your test because it's so important. So monopoly price above marginal cost instead of equal to marginal cost, we call it inefficient pricing. And that discrepancy between price and marginal cost is what we call market power markup. Let's say if you're a monopoly, Microsoft, maybe they charge $120 for their software. Whatever, let's just say $120. But their marginal cost is only $20. So what is the markup here? Nobody's listening. So what's the markup? If the price, if they charge you $120, the marginal cost is only $20. What's the markup? Come on. 120 minus 20 is 100. 120 minus 20 is 100. It can be 80. Right? Everybody got it? You have to start thinking, you are still at the mode of, I just submitted my paper, I know, you did it. Good job. But now you need to come back to the class here. I see some of you are still like, okay, my mind is still over there. So that discrepancy, that distance, that difference is called market power. So now you could see the more you could price above marginal cost and more market power you have. Let's say they charge $500. The marginal cost is zero. Whoa, how does that make you feel? They just earn $500 from you easily. Every single consumer out there. So that's the power. The power of the markup. Dead wage loss. So monopoly has dead wage loss, and that's why it's called inefficient. Everybody got that? And over here is efficient because there's no dead wage loss. Let me go back to that diagram. So I want to point out something. See right here, here's the price by monopoly, $4, right? Where is that markup? Right here. You see my finger right there, that white line? That is the markup, because here's your marginal cost right here, right? So the markup here is $4 minus $2, which is $2. So you see, if you don't have that distance, and notice that if you keep moving from 8 to 9 to 10 to 11, eventually to 12, you get rid about it, right? You get rid of that little triangle there. So what this is saying is, as you move more and more towards perfect competition, then this triangle is being minimized, right? So that means you have to lower the price further and further until you get to 3. So I think you see it now. So in order to get rid of that, right, and as you go more towards the left, that vertical line becomes bigger, 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 right? There it is. That's your market power. Yes, questions?
Well, I have a previous question. What are the 2 strategies that monopolies use to maximize profit?
Did she just show it to you?
Yeah.
Okay, that was in the previous unit.
Oh.
Okay, I need to move on. So, socially efficient level of output is where marginal benefit equals a marginal cost. Monopoly produce less than socially efficient level of output. We agree, because it was 8 instead of 12. Socially inefficient because it produces the dead wage loss, which is inefficient. You don't want that. So now we say, oh, okay, so monopolies is not efficient, and this inefficiency is being measured by the area of that triangle. We call bad triangle dead wage loss. So then we say, well, now why do we need monopoly? Now there's a lot of economic justification for why we need monopoly, and you should think about this as your future topic for your last article summary. So we say, well, then we could restrict them. We could restrict Microsoft. I think back in year 2000, when internet first came out, became commercialized, you were born already, but you probably couldn't read the newspaper and knew what was going on. So Microsoft was taking over companies at the rate of probably 3 to 4 companies a week. There was a very famous software, I think it's called Checkbook or something, or Checkfree. Microsoft tried to buy that. And then a company comes up with very good video or sound program, software. They try to take over. So everything you see that Microsoft has in their operating system or Office suite, it's over a number of years of taking over a lot of little companies. So Department of Justice is wary that Microsoft might become a bank. Have you ever thought about it? Yeah. It might become a telco, telecommunication company, possibly. If you just slowly just do that. So they have to restrict it and say, okay, this is it, and so you have to have some kind of legislation to stop them, because otherwise it's Bill Gates' empire that will take the whole of the United States. Okay, so we have some of the problem and some of the things you could do to reduce dead wage loss. You heard about antitrust law. How many of you heard about that term, antitrust? Okay, antitrust basically is, for example, one famous case is Microsoft versus, I think, Netscape, because Netscape came out with the very first browser, web browser. And wonderful. When the internet first came out, that's all I used, Netscape. But then Microsoft over time came out with IE. Everybody knows IE. So today we got Google, we got, what's the other one, Firefox, yeah. So that's, they were going to Department of Justice to try to fight the case that because Netscape say, you know, they were number one and Microsoft trying to take over the industry, so so this kind of thing is called anti-competitive law. Because there is such a law that, you know, you can collude with another company or you can fix the price. And these are all strategy to try to prevent people from getting into the market. Well, airlines do that all the time. They will lower their price and everybody else lower the price. And then the small budget airline get bankrupt, got kicked out from the industry. Then they raise their price. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's so therefore Department of Justice have to do something. So they do it through patents, copyright, innovation, we talk about it, pharmaceutical drug, your prescription drugs. Natural monopolies, we talk about it as well, about a utility company, a water company in Pembroke. Next, I'm gonna go on and talk about price discrimination. This is a very big topic. Most students are very interested in this topic and want to do paper on it. So, and you see a lot of application everywhere you go. For example, like this movie discount ticket for senior citizen for children. If you go to any public place sometime when they charge it, they always give discount to senior citizen and children or students. Super Saver discount on air travel, yes. I'm just giving you an example, but let's go back to the definition. What exactly is price discrimination? This is a practice of charging different buyer different prices for essentially the same good or service. How would you like it if I charge Michael $20 for coming to my class, and then I charge Mr. Parker $50? You say I price discriminate, right? Okay. So because it's the same thing, you both come to the same lecture. So that's an important definition. That keep that in mind. Now, rebate coupon in retail merchandise. We get that all the time. What are some of the retail stores out there? Belk and Macy. They always have this early birds discount. How many of you ever gone to this early birds discount? Okay. Now, you see, they get the early birds to get out there. Because if they don't have such a thing, you don't get up and go out there and buy. So, so this is their strategy. When they throw out discount like that, more people actually yield to that discount, so their volumes increase. And there's some people who never could make it. But there's some people who make it because they could make it, because it's early birds. And they don't normally shop, but when they see that early birds discount, you know, then they get up early and they get there by 10 o'clock or whatever time that they have. Okay, so now the airlines has, to some extent, perfected the price discrimination skill. And most of you understand, most of you know that if you book your ticket like 3 weeks in advance, you're likely to get the better price than if you book it the day before you travel. Probably $1,000 to fly to San Francisco, or $2,000. If you book it now, who has the money? The businessman. Because they have to be in their board meeting in San Francisco tomorrow, short on a very short notice. What about students? Maybe not so wealthy, you know, and not so elastic and say, oh boy, I just don't go. I'll just travel by Greyhound, or I rent a car, or whatever, instead of fly. So, and they also discriminate not only on that. Nowadays, what do they discriminate on? The leg room, right?
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi, the bags. How many bags do you have? I don't take my bag on flight because I see all these people fighting to get on, so they could put their stuff there. I say, I don't have any stuff. I just have my purse, that's it. And I just check in my luggage, and usually because I get the first one for free because I have the airline's card. When you travel internationally, you need to travel like that too. Remember from, where was it? I was crossing the border from Jordan to Israel. And I packed my luggage. I only need one, little one. So I could run. I could do it, everything quickly if something happened, you know. And I saw some people travel with like, a huge luggage. They had problem, yeah. So anyway, And I always pack in such a way that I tell myself, if I lose that luggage, so be it. So you have to think like that when you travel internationally to a lot of countries, especially countries that have a lot of unrest, you know. If I lose it, so be it. So you have to think like that. So everything you have inborn habit with you, but light, travel light. Got to have your cell phone, right? That's the most important thing, right? Don't pack your cell phone in your check-in luggage. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. What about computer? I don't carry them anymore because they give me so much problem. Every time you go to the airport, one time I go to about 9 airport back and forth, and by the time I got back, that thing is not working anymore. Why? Because you keep opening it, it's just so many. So at the end I say, not worth it. I got my mini cell computer, that's my cell phone, right? Today you could do that, right? Okay, so what's the benefit of, for example, this early bird discount? Number of trades increase. It draws out all these early birds to the sales. And it brings the output closer to the socially efficient level. You push and push, so instead of 8, right, you push it all the way to 12. See what I'm saying? Talking about the monopoly number 8. So if you have more volume, you sell more volume, then you're more and more approaching your perfect competition. Okay, reduce the dead weight loss, right? Once you move towards greater number, then that little triangle, well, that big bad triangle becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And is that good? Absolutely. That's what you want. You want to make sure that you're not doing so much, not giving so much weight to the dead weight loss. Okay, next I want to shift gear to look at some of these numbers so you have it in your book. You have to really follow these examples. They're not so easy to understand if you read it on your own. So let's go to the book and see if you could find a page. Tell me what page. I'm faster than you. I got it. 209 or 208 or 210. Somewhere it is. See the first one. So we're gonna look at a monopoly example. In this monopoly example, there's a lady, her name is Carla. What's she gonna do? She is going to edit your term date. Hope some of you use a writing center today, so if not, think about it while we're doing this example. So now, these are the students, 8 of them, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So is that 8? Okay, 8 students. They all have their reservation price for allowing Carla to edit the paper, the term paper. And so I rank them from the highest to the lowest. I don't know where you are, but I could do the same today. You know, I could just lock the door. I come in like 30 minutes early. So when you come in, I say, oh, Miss Green, you're the first one to get here. How much are you willing to pay for the class today? You say, oh yeah, $100 because I gotta submit this paper today. I gotta get you in your hand, so okay, very good, $100, I'm gonna write down. Then the next person come in, Trina, you come in, you say, oh yeah, 25. Okay, 25. So next person come in, Mr. Parker, you come in and say, oh yeah, 25 cents. I say, okay, 25 cents. So I rank you all the way from highest to lowest, according to your reservation price. Okay, what reservation price means how much you're willing to pay. Okay, everybody has a reservation price. So this is for editing the paper. Get someone to edit the paper, not get someone to do the paper for you. Big difference. You get into trouble. So I hope we don't have that. If there is something like that, you need to tell me. If I find out, it's a little bit too late. So total revenue, how do we get that? Okay, pay attention to this. For the first person, it's $40, because that's, yeah, you could charge up to $40 that you only have one student, the first student. But if you have 2 students, one is willing to pay $38, the other one is willing to pay $40. And if you want to serve the both of them, you would have to take the lower price, charge a lower price, correct? Because if you charge $40, you only get one, you lose the other. So then you have to charge 38 if there are 2. So 38 times 2. Take out your calculator if you want, check it. 38 times 2 is 76. So likewise, if you come down 36, you will have to times 3 to get that 108 right there. okay? So now you have your total revenue right here, all the way down to 208. So how do we get 208, for example? That would be taking 26 times 8 to get that number. So you got it. So in other words, in order to serve all the students, you have to charge 26, so you get all of them. You have to charge the lowest reservation price. Okay, next we calculate the marginal revenue. So this class by now, you should be expert in calculate the marginal value. So how do we get 40? Because 40 minus 0 is 40. How do we get 36? 76 minus 40 is 36. So how to get 32? 108 minus 76. So this is the first student, second student, third student. Remember, I use the word first, second, third. Okay, so I'm not going to rewrite that equation because I've done it so many times. So here's the number. Next, I'm going to give you the condition here. So here's the condition. How many manuscripts Shikara edited? Now her opportunity cost, or what we call marginal cost, is $29. Okay, now that's different from reservation price. Hopefully someone is willing to pay it. Okay, and total revenue, I think we did that example, so we already done that. So, so let's go back to that. So if her opportunity cost or marginal cost is $29, right? So then we come back to this criterion here. Remember, MR greater than MC. So here's a marginal revenue. Marginal cost is 29. So is it okay to serve the first one? Yes. Next one? Yes. Next one? Yes. What about next one? Not okay. Everybody with me? Because then it's
less than the market.
right. It's less than the marginal cost. So you stop right there. So you serve 3 students, the top 3. So I'm gonna do a summary here to help you. So please write it down. I'm gonna draw a quick table to summarize because we're gonna look at a few cases here. This is the first case. And I want you to pay attention to how much profit they get in each case. And what are the quantity they're charging in each case. Okay, let me see, marginal revenue, 40, 36. Okay, the first case is, these are the cases. So case 1 will be, this is called single price monopoly. Okay. The marginal cost is always $29 regardless. And we want to know what is the Q, and we want to know what is the profit. Okay, so you know that in this case you serve 3 students, so I'm gonna put 3 there. Now what about the profit? Profit, we have to go back and look at this calculation. So if you end up serving only 3 students, or 3 papers in this case, the total cost will be 3 students, or 3 papers, times 29, which is 87. The total revenue is 108. Let's go back and see how we got 108. See right here? So look at your book. Have your book handy so you can look at it. 1, 2, 3. So this is 108. So total revenue is 108. Total cost is 87. So you take the difference, so you got 21. Okay? So $21 per week is the profit. I'm gonna ignore the last line because that's not so important. I meant to erase that. So next case. The next case we want to look at socially efficient. That's a criterion you use. The next one is called socially efficient solution, or perfect competition, basically, where you will go by P to MC. Okay, I hope you're taking notes because this is very important difference here. So now we want to look at socially efficient condition where P equals to MC. Now, if you serve it by, yes, question?
Is that MR is equal to MC?
Greater than or equal to
Okay.
MC, yes. So if you go by price is equal to marginal cost, you will look at all the reservation price here, okay, and look, okay, your marginal cost is, because we want P equals to MC, so here's your P. Okay, your MC is $29, that stay the same throughout. So how many can you serve now? You could serve,
6.
right, you could serve 6. Everybody understand how we get there? Because all these numbers are okay up to here. The next one is not okay. The next one is 28. So, but your marginal cost is $29. So therefore you serve only 6 students. Everybody understand how we got that?
Price equal to.
Because again, you know, with $29, you could serve orders. P equals to MC, everything being fulfilled here. But over here, your price is now less than your marginal cost. Okay, so which is not okay. So that means you stop right here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then you serve 6 students. And indeed, you expect so, because remember, this is a monopoly, they serve only 3. For perfect competition, usually you have more, because monopoly is restricting output. And so then let's go back to that calculation in the second case. So in the second case, right here, so this is the same explanation I talk about here, right? The reservation should be greater than opportunity cost for student A to F, except for the last 2, they get dropped out because they did not meet the condition. So now efficient number is 6. How do we do that? Total revenue is 6 times 30. How do we know 30? Because once again, go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 30 times 6 is 180. That's how you got that number. So have your book ready and flip it back and forth so you could see it with this table, because it's kind of hard later on for me to go back so many slides. So the total revenue is 180 because you take 6 times 30. What about my total cost? That would be your marginal cost, which is 29 times 6, you got 174. So the difference here, economic profit, is take the difference between the two, you got $6. Okay? So, wow. You see the difference? That's perfect competition. They get less profit as compared to monopoly. Okay? So forget about the last line. So all that you need to know is $6. So straight away you look at it, you can tell like, oh yeah, big difference, you know. So next you want to throw in case number 3, which is applying price discrimination now. Okay, we're gonna apply price discrimination. What is price discrimination? Okay, if you apply price discrimination, well, let's just say Carla is going to practice price discrimination now. So if we make that assumption, how many papers would she be editing is the question. Assuming that they charge each student the reservation price. Wow. That's me charging Miss Green 100, you 25, and you 25 cents. What good is that? Let's take a look. It's good, well, I mean, if you know it, but a lot of times students, well, not students, but people are not willing to review it truthfully. They might say, I'm willing to pay 25 cents, but really you're willing to pay much more than that, maybe $10, you know. So sometimes there's a little bit of discrepancy there. So anyway, I reproduce that first 2 columns. The reservation price all the way 26 to 40. So Carla would edit A to F. Again, same thing up to here. But then instead of multiply by the same price, now you are taking 40 plus 38 plus 36 plus 34 plus 32 plus 30. Now, is that better for you? Yes, absolutely. Because you're not charging a uniform price anymore. You're charging them according to how much they're willing to pay. Wow.
But she still doesn't wanna go under the $29 though, right?
Right, that still apply. Very good. So if you do that, if your calculator calculate that, you should get 210 for your total revenue, and straight away you see that's a lot, that's higher than 180 in the previous case. Now the total cost is the same, 6 student times 29, 174, but the difference here is right here. Straight away, $20 different. So then you take the difference between the two, 210 minus 174, you get $36 per week. That is the highest. And you're still serving 6, but now you practice price discrimination. And that is why today all the businesses out there are doing that. They get more from their consumer surplus, from your consumer surplus. They extract every bit of it and turn it into their producer surplus. So essentially, consumer surplus becomes 0. Wow. So now you think about it. So in this case, economic profit is greater than the first two cases, as you could see. Now, we're going to talk about this a little bit now. So that's what it is, perfectly discriminating. So I should say perfect price discrimination. We use the word perfect because that means you are able to tell exactly how much a person is willing to pay you, and you're charging exactly that price. Economic surplus is being maximized. Consumer surplus is 0. Economic surplus is maximized because, in this case, like I say, you extract out every single bit of the consumer surplus and you turn it into your producer surplus. Okay, I'm going to write this down and I hope you do write it down. Remember your TES? Total economic surplus consists of, tell me, 2 things.
Consumer surplus plus the producer surplus.
Very good. Now, if you're able to extract out every single bit of the consumer surplus, then this becomes 0. Right? And that means your total economic surplus consists of nothing but producer surplus. Wow. That's monopoly, who is able to practice perfect price discrimination. So your producer surplus, all your total economic surplus consists of only your producer surplus. Wow. Okay, and then we say that this is considered efficient. Why? Because in this case, the reason it is considered efficient is that whole triangle you saw earlier become producer surplus. Sophia, you have a question? Yes.
Why exactly does the consumer surplus?
I'm sorry?
Why exactly does the consumer surplus turn into a 0?
Well, because of what I just said. You're able to charge everybody according to their reservation price. Okay, if you look at a diagram, it's sort of like this. Okay, remember this diagram we have. So this is basically your consumer surplus. And what is consumer surplus is, remember the Michael Jackson's tickets, concert tickets. So you will charge like that, right? Like this is $11, $10, so on. You become less and less willing. So now, in the case of perfect price discrimination, you're able to turn this whole piece of triangle into your producer surplus because you're able to extract it all the way to the fine detail, every single piece of it, until there is no consumer surplus. Because consumer surplus is basically the what the consumer get out of it. But if she knows reservation price, they charge everybody according to your reservation price, then you don't have consumer surplus. They are a step ahead of you. And how do they do that? Price discrimination. Coupons. Well, coupons is one big example, but the main thing is, this is actually efficient. Get that? So that's why I write it down, this is efficient. It is efficient because, you know, basically you don't have net wage loss. That whole piece here become,
Producer surplus.
that's right.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay, next, we want to say that, yeah, in theory that sounds good, but in practice it's not so easy to practice perfect price discrimination. And I already described to you, because some of you could lie, you know, you don't have to review truthfully. So seller does not know each buyer's reservation price. We have to ask you. And sometimes even asking you are not willing to tell the truth. Another reason why it will break down is if you can do reselling. For example, if you walk into a movie theater, they have senior citizen discount. And so, and you have your buddies with you, like maybe 5 or 6 of you, and you don't have enough money. You wish you could be a senior citizen. Some of you come up with some idea, like, let's put on a white wig, you know, beard, you know, white beard, and disguise yourself as a senior citizen, you know, and they believe you. And then they give you senior citizen discount for 5 tickets. You bought it, well, not 5, but they probably just sell it to you for you yourself. And then you walk out to the parking lot, you take out all your wig and beard and all your disguise, you know, and you sell it to your friends and make profit out of it. Then we say price discrimination does not work. So here it is. Low price buyer could resell to another buyer at a higher price. Then it breaks down. Price discrimination does not work unless the seller could separate them. So that's the next tactic that our producers out there, retailers out there are doing. So they come up with something called the Herder method of price discrimination. And most of you heard about this Herder price discrimination. How many of you buy electronic stuff like monitors, maybe printers, peripherals, and then, and you know, they always say there's a rebate coupon, right? Now, that rebate coupon has some hurdle to it, because a lot of time people buy it, but then you have to fill out the coupon. You have to mail it in. So every step is a hurdle. You have to find an envelope. You have to find the stamps. You have to include the receipt, make photocopy. You have to take out your ink pen and write the address. And that still is not good enough. If you forget to mail it by the deadline, which I did one time, $150, I didn't get it.
Okay.
When I realized, I sent it in to them, and they say, oh, the timestamp, you know, post office timestamp, they say it's past the deadline. I didn't get it, so I didn't pass that hurdle test. And it takes for you to drive the post office. That still doesn't cut it. You could drop it on the floor when you try to put it in, right? So it has to be all the way crossing that hurdle. And so some people don't get it. How many of you see people have use coupon all the time when they walk into the store? Some do, some don't, because it's a hassle to carry coupon. It's a hassle to stand there. Oh, which one should I use? One time, this is like 20 years ago when I was a graduate student, I was poor at that time, not so, you know. So I saw an ad on the paper that say, send in $1, we'll send you all the coupon. And I thought, well, that is so attractive. You send in $1 and you get like maybe $300 worth of coupon, you know. So I sent it in. I sent in $1 check, and then I got it a few, well, maybe like a week or two later. when I opened it up, I was like, and they cut out this coupon from the orange carton. You could tell, like, I said, man, this is so unprofessional. I could smell orange, and this is really not, but that's how it is, They didn't lie. It really add up to $300 value, but somebody's willing to do that and make money out of it, and did I use it? No. I say I could do this myself too, but anyway, that's just, so that's a hurdle. Profit maximizing seller goal is to charge every buyer his or her reservation price, if you could. The practice of offering a discount to all the buyers who overcome some obstacles a lot of time is, again, coupon, you have to mail it in, the rebate. Even time spent waiting is considered price discrimination. Now, how many of you read paperbacks? How about Stephen King's novel, It's a Horror Movie? Well, when it first came out, there are fans who are really for it. They go out to the bookstore and buy the one, maybe $40. I don't know. But if you're patient enough, you wait a month, the paperbacks comes out, it only costs $10. That's price discrimination. The same thing when a movie first comes out, it's very expensive. And then after a while, you could get it in Blockbuster, you could get it in Redbox, for a cheaper price. That's price discrimination. What do they price discriminate you on? On your patience. Are you patient to wait? Some people are not. I remember one of the Die Hard movie, I think it was Die Hard 2 or 3, I forgot which one. Came out in the 90s. And I was a big fan of Die Hard back then when I was a graduate student. So I wanted so bad to see it the first day they released it. I did. It was like only me and another old lady, sitting in the movie theater. We pay the highest price because we're willing to pay for it. But then most people wait, till it comes till the price comes down. Anyway, so a perfect hurdle is to separate the buyer precisely according to their reservation price, if you could do it. So now we're going to do one more practice, one more example here. How much should Carla charge for anything if she could use a perfect hurdles? Okay. Now she's going to offer a coupon to this student, 8th student. She say, well, okay, I have a mail-in rebate coupon now. And if you mail in that rebate coupon, you get $4 discount. Not bad. Now, student with at least $36 reservation price never use a coupon. That's probably true. You don't bother. So some people got, okay, well, we'll look at that table in just a minute. Student with reservation price below $36 will use a coupon. Opportunity cost is the same, $29. Discount coupon is $4. So now the table looks very different now. Here's a new table. Look at this now. We got sub-market now. Instead of one big market, now we got two. The top one, ABC, the first 3 students who don't care about using the coupon, $36 and above, the same calculation we had. Marginal revenue is 40, 36, 32. However, the second sub-market is when the difference comes in. So look at this now. This is still the same, reservation price is the same, but look at how we calculate now. Well, yeah. So look at this one, total revenue. So in this case, we say 34, then it will be 34 times 1. 32 will be 32 times 2. So you got 64. That will be 30 times 3. You get 90. So now you got another set of marginal revenue based on this second sub-market. So that's 34, 64 minus 34, 30. So how many do you serve now? 5. You serve 5 now. Okay, if you could do that, 40, 36. So this is the first sub-market, this is the second sub-market. I think if you understand it, so let's look at the calculation. You could serve 5 students, ABC is the first sub-market and D and E is the second sub-market. This should be in your book if you want to refer to it while I explain this, but it's hard for me to keep going back and forth. About 213, page
250.
Is that 215? Okay. Table 7.6. So let's look at it. So total revenue is 36 times 3 plus the second sub-market 32 times 2. Okay, because this is 3 people in the first sub-market, 2 people at the second sub-market. Look at that, 172. Discount price of 32 means this will use a coupon, will receive a rebate of $4 on $36 list price. Total cost is the same, 5 times 29, you get 145. So economic profit is equals to 172 minus 145. This minus that, you get $27 per week. Okay, so this is less than this, but more practical. So this is 5. So I'm still working on this. Number 4 is called perfect hurdle of price discrimination. Now this one in theory works the best, but then in practice is not so practical. So if you use a perfect hurdle, then it's more practical, but you don't get as much. But it's kind of like a compromise. It's still better than the first 2 cases though. So if that's the case, right, yeah, $6 more, and you could see the comparison here. So then finally, on this particular slides here, we want to look at the big picture now. Step back a little bit. Where is the producer surplus? Where is the consumer surplus? Where is the total economic surplus? So again, the top 3 are the first top sub-market. So we got everything here. The consumer surplus is, how do we get that? We get that from $40 is the reservation price, but since we charge them 36, remember you have to charge a lower one in order to get all 3. So then for the first guy, or student A, you get the consumer. You extract $4 out of him as consumer surplus. The second one, $2, the last one, 0. And then the second sub-market, you only get actually 2, but E basically is 32 minus 32, 0. I didn't put that down. So again, same thing, got $2. So if you add up both sub-market, your consumer surplus is 6 plus 2, $8, the yellow one. So let's look at it. What about producer surplus? Producer surplus would be that marginal cost times the quantity. So then for the first case, single price monopoly, you take 3 because you only serve 3 students. 36 minus 29. 36 because that's how much you charge. 29 is a marginal cost, so you have 21. So then the total economic surplus, you would take that producer surplus of 21 plus consumer surplus of 6, you got 27. Because in the first case, right, monopoly, single price monopoly, we only had 3 students. And that's why you only had 3 here, and you only take the top 3. Everybody got that? Then when you introduce that discount price or the coupon, you serve 5 students. Again, I did not include E because that one consumer surplus is 0. So it's like the homeless person I talked about in the Michael Jackson concert ticket example. So now, so that first part, sub-market, is the same, what we just calculated. But the second one, you get a little bit more. So 32 minus 29, because that's a reservation price to get 2 of them. So then you have 6 here, so total economic surplus, when you offer coupon, would be 21 plus 6, 27. So that's your producer surplus, 27 plus 8, because you have to include both market. So you got 35. So in other words, when you introduce, so I should write this down, one more. This is, you got 35 as your total economic surplus. And this is a case you have 20. We only do this 2 calculation, we didn't do the rest, okay? So what it is saying is, yes, when you price discriminate, you get a little bit more, not just in terms of profit, but also in terms of total economic surplus. So the higher your total economic surplus, the better, because then it's considered more efficient. So then, so for the method of price discrimination tend to separate the discount buyer from the list price buyer. So it's like when you fly the airlines, right? You think the airlines make money out of you if you travel economy class? Not really. They make money out of the business in the first class. So they are the one who subsidize you for your, they make profit out of business in first class instead of from the economy class. The monopolies profit come from a list price buyers rather than the discount buyers. That's probably true. Once again, go back to this. Monopoly is considered inefficient. Very important. Probably ask you on the test. Because price is greater than marginal revenue, or you could look at it the other way, price is greater than marginal cost. So there is this market power there. The Herder method of price discrimination raises total economic surplus and reduce the inefficiency. So that's the last case you saw, 35. The more, finally, the seller can discriminate, the smaller the efficiency loss. So that was a question that Sophia you asked a while ago. Now remember I said this is one, well, I mean, Michael Jackson kind of said the example, $12, $11. Now remember when I do like that, you see this little triangle here, right? So that's the consumer surplus loss. But then if you get it to be so smooth, you could finally define it instead of like $12, $12.01 or $12.001. So then you get it to be so refined, and it becomes a smooth line. And you got it, you got more out of it. The more finely the seller can discriminate, the smaller the efficiency loss. Herders are not perfect, therefore there will be some efficiency loss. We expect that. And some of the example of price discrimination, temporary sales, book publisher, paperback, we talked about it. About car company produce various models, right? When you buy a car, it's a car that's no frill, no power steering, nothing. Or you could buy something that has GPS device, something that has a rear camera, sports frame. What do they call that? Moonroof or sunroof, yeah. So as you add more and more, we call it more loaded. Then the price goes up. So they go by price discrimination. Yes, you could buy an expensive car, but no frill, stripped down. All the features are like the most basic. Or you could go for the most extravagant or whatever you call it, most elaborate, all the way to, what do they have now? They have certain technology that I don't think I would buy a car like that, when you're about to have an accident, they lock you up. Anybody heard about that? I know Toyota has a technology like that, like blind spot, they could see it. They could warn you. There's a sensor that warns you if you're in a blind spot. And there's also a technology that when you're about to hit somebody within certain distance, the car locking mechanism, it locks up the whole thing, you just, I guess, freeze, When I saw that technology, I say, I don't want it. I think I want to be able to control the car rather than it helps me. It helps me too much. I don't need it. Okay, we talked about commercial airlines, movies, SL. So I think that's the end of this chapter. Very good. So if there's still any